Hazlitt, the halves Hogan and Witt, and the forwards Power, Sargent, Gallen, Hickson, Irvine and Boyd. Their coach is David Dwyer. And now the famous colours of St Gregory's College, Campbelltown, the sky blue with maroon, and a tremendous reception for them. What a school they have been at this level of competition. 8 times winning the cup. They have played in 9 finals. They've lost only 1. Their side today, Watt, McIntyre, Maguire captain, Masters, Pinn, the halves Christian and Luke, and the forwards Heckenberg, Dunn, Fitzpatrick, Harpley. Butcher comes in at hooker and Tong, and the coach is Simon Hutley.
Good. Skipper, you're right to go, Skip. You're right to go. You're right. Hang on, fellas, we're waiting for TV, okay?
Mick Lewis controlling this match.
Both sides, stay back.
Round of 16 in the Aussie Home Loans Cup underway with St Gregory's running from right to left. Keith Heckenberg with a kick-off. And this Parramatta Marist side, well, the pack they've got lining up this year is basically the pack they had that they fielded in the final last year against Erindale. The final they lost by 27 points to 14 after leading 8-4 at half-time. As Walker mentioned, some fire in the belly, some real determination to make this year's final. Irvine, a dummy half. The man playing the ball is penalised.
Yeah, and fair enough too. You've got to get up and play square to the goal line. That's what the referee's found the penalty there. Straight on the attack now, St Gregory's. Some 28 metres out. This will be interesting to see what they do from here straight away. Still be a little cool. See what they do with this set.
And the bald-headed winger is Ben McIntyre for St Gregory's. Only 25 metres out. David Butcher coming into this side at hooker, and this is Daryl Tong. You should be aware St Gregory's field a number of boarders at the college, and Daryl Tong hails from Papua New Guinea. And he's come up with a first error for St Gregory.
Not a bad shot over the top there from Sargent. It was Tong who took the ball forward on the second tackle, loose possession. Scrum feed and loose now to Parramatta Marist. Been raining for a fair while too, Andrew, for the last couple of hours, so slippery conditions out there.
5'8", you're marking those spots. You guys are square. Here you go.
Enormous wraps on the number 7 for Parramatta Marist, Stephen Witt, and passing the ball from the base of the scrum. He's on the comeback from an ankle injury. 3 current Australian schoolboys in this Marist lineup. And plenty of venom in their start too. Paul Gallen to the 40-metre line. Irvine sends them back infield. And look at the defence of St Gregory's hunting up Tong and Harpley, the 2 front rowers there. Everything we expected, the opening to this match. Here's Anthony Boyd going across field. Ball of play on from Lewis when Boyd ran behind a teammate. Irvine, the inside ball, they're getting a roll on now with Power. Some Power, he was the goal kicker in the final side last year. Last tackle and 20 metres out, and a big chance for Parramatta Marist with the numbers on the right-hand side, with Jamie Lyon now. And taken over the sideline. In fact, it may have been Power who finished up with it. No, it was Jamie Lyon.
Tell you what, that was a great set of 6 tackles. They've gone nearly the full length of the field, running the ball in the first time that they've had it. They get the ball on the outside. Now there's Jamie Lyon. Strides out, tries to duck under a couple of players and is forced into touch.
Butcher as they carry out from their own goal line. Harpley only on their own 10-metre line. And this Marist defence is getting up quickly. Look at this defence. Punishing stuff from Marist early. Looking to qualify for their 3rd straight final. As are Erindale College, the winners of the last 2 years. Back goes Dane Gilmore for Parramatta Marist. That was a good kick.
It wasn't a bad tactic, actually. Gilmore was up just behind the line. It was a dodgy one, kicking from your own 10 metres, but he caught the fullback out there.
And the support of both teams very vocal early. Howard goes for another run. Over the top was Peter Maguire. That's David Dwyer, coach of Parramatta Marist. He's been at the helm for a number of years. He knows what it's like to take the school to a final. In fact, he's been coach since 1990.
I'll tell you what the difference is so far. The speed of the play the ball from Parramatta Marist. So Gregory's can't control them at the moment. They need to get a few more tacklers in and around the ball.
Hogan kicking for that corner and putting pressure on Andrew Pinn, who in the end was able to let it go, but the touchline in goal. Somewhat of a relief for St Gregory's. And the restart from the 20. And that's not the way to run at the defence. Pulling up in front of Brett Sargent. Irvine there as well. The advantage with Parramatta Marist early in this one. And they are coming off a win too in the Aussie Home Loans Cup. Last week they defeated De La Salle of Cronulla 32 points to 12. Tong went to dummy half, and not a good pass. It went past Alan Luke, putting a bit of pressure on themselves. Boyd and Gallen up in defence.
Well, I'd be kicking early in the tackle count again. That's a shocking set of 6 tackles. Last tackle now for the St Gregory side.
A good pass too. Hartley got them to the 40-metre line, so a chance for a 40-20. The ball was touched, so all the chasers onside, but Cassis coming up with it. It sat up on the bounce for him. He's a newcomer to the top side, Colin Cassis. And again, there's a few raps on him as well. Looks a strong player. Irvine, they get moving to the left with power. He was excellent last year, his contribution to Parramatta Marist. And now with Sargent. He's one of the players who'll be headed overseas at the end of the year with the Australian schoolboys. Likewise, Daniel Irvine and Jamie Lyon the centre. And Marist are through, and there's a try coming to the halfback Witt. Stephen Witt puts it down, and there's plenty of elation there from Parramatta Marist. They strike the first blow, it's 4-0.
We already mentioned the slippery conditions early in this match, and it's a perfect play to turn someone on the inside of you. It's exactly what happens here. It's a good break. Just look at the support loom up on the outside. And that's the little halfback Witt. He's got too much pace over that 12 metres. And there's the first try for Parramatta Marist. And it was coming.
Well, Stephen Witt was selected earlier this year in the New South Wales under-17 side. He's had a few injury problems, a few setbacks along the way, but he's back. And he's back in control and coming up with the first try. Here's a young man who's had a few headlines in his short rugby league career. Barney Hazlitt, now 16 years of age, was signed as a 14-year-old on scholarship with Parramatta. And Hazlitt's first kick of the day is successful. Good start for Parramatta Marist. They lead by 6 points to 0.
Stay back, guys, stay back.
Back we come with Pete Heckenberg for St Gregory's, conceding the first points in this match. We mentioned Marist coming off a victory. Well, St Gregory's coming off a countback loss. The heartache of that in this competition. They drew 18-all last week with Marcelin College Randwick and lost on countback. And in fact, they lost on countback to Parramatta Marist in 1997. disappointment really is Witt passing up there. Very impressed with the formation. That's David Butcher to the bench for St Gregory's, their hooker. Cameron Davis now out there in number 9 for St Greg's.
Yeah, they look the goods, don't they, at the moment, Parramatta Marist. How good's their handling? You already mentioned their formation, but only one drop ball so far in this game.
Skidded on first bounce, that kick from Witt. Bring it over the dead ball line. You were involved with that New South Wales under-17 side block earlier this year, the team that played at the Olympic Stadium, on no doubt just a stack of talent on show.
Well, there were some great players in that side, and they really blew Queensland away on the night. Very aggressive football. There's another good front-on hit there. Gallen, that's the man who made the break to set up the try. He's doing it in defence too.
That was upending on Ben McIntyre, and now the pressure put on St Gregory's. The defence is hunting up. Ball travelled forward. Tong got to the loose ball.
He's not having a great start, is he, Tong? Here's the number 2 being upended. It's McIntyre. And here's Tong taking the ball forward with the offload. The one-on-one strip. Parramatta Marist with the football now. About 30 out.
Brent Sargent was the tackler on Tong, and here is Scott Hogan, the captain of Marist. He has played in the last 2 finals, and here's a penalty to Parramatta Marist.
You know what? We don't want those.
I'll be going for the try here. Straight for touch. Putting their opposition under all sorts of pressure. Exactly what they're going to do.
Daniel Irvine.
Top 60 now, boys.
We'll have finding the line. Nephew of the late Ken Irvine. Now Sargent carries them to within 5 metres of the line. Parramatta Marist in possession and leading by 6 points to 0. Witt offers the short ball. The defence was alert. The 5'8" Daniel Christian came up with a vital tackle, but it's still on for Marist, and Boyd, the front rower, thunders over for Marist. Anthony Boyd gets the meat pie, and it's 10-0.
Andrew, just have a look at the leg speed here of Boyd. He burst through a tackle. Little short ball on the outside there from the halfback. They set it up. They did so well. They're too strong on the forwards, aren't they? Little unders play. Boyd too strong.
And Boyd, another one of those players who has tasted defeat in a final last year. He hails from Port Macquarie and now representing the Parramatta Eels and Parramatta Marist. The chance now for Barney Hazlitt. He'll have his fan club at Tumbarumba watching today, down near Tumut. And his second kick is headed for the upright, but wide. So 10-0 the score here. Parramatta Marist over St Gregory's College, Campbelltown.
Stay back, guys, when you're right.
Well, it's not time to panic, but there would be some worried officials and players and fans of St Gregory's right at the moment. They've been ambushed to start this match at 10-0.
They need a little bit more aggression in their defence. They've got to stop this roll on at the moment the Parramatta Marist have got, making easy yards. There's another good run by Boyd again, the try scorer.
You have a bit of speed off the mark, the front rower Boyd, and he's got a bit of an angle too. He's not afraid to run wide and perhaps run out to the fringe, the 5'8" in centre. Proving a real handful. Anthony Boyd. Here's Hogan. A nice ruck play from Parramatta Marist, and they open up again. It was knocked down by Harpley.
First tackle.
Well, that was a key touch from Ian Harpley, the front rower. He doesn't get a hand to it. Well, you would have thought the support player for Marist would have sprinted away.
It was well orchestrated, wasn't it? They worked to the middle of the park and then switched play. Good strong runner, this kid Gallant. Ball goes to ground.
And now St Greg's have coughed it up. Doesn't help the situation. So Marist on the attack. 40 metres out from the line. And a slow play the ball there for Irvine. And pushing up, and Gallant offloading. These short passes are also causing plenty of problems. Irvine gets them going to the left with Boyd again. There's that angle from Boyd for Stafford. 10 metres out. Parramatta Marist in possession, leading by 10 points to 0. They come centre field with power. He shaped the pass to the left, pass to the right, and now fielded by Heckenberg for St Gregory.
I'm sure the message will go out. The last two times that Parramatta Marist have had the football, they tried to force the pass. They're ahead 10 points to 0 on the scoreboard. Another turnover now from St Greg's.
That was a good shot on Tong that forced the ball loose. They are slippery conditions. And Irvine just got in front on. And Irvine has pushed away from Davis, who was, I think, called offside. Now back for Irvine.
He never got onside, Andrew.
That line you can see is the 10-metre mark. As it comes up for Sargent. 5 out. And Gregory's. This is as desperate as they'll get in the Aussie Home Loans Cup when you're 10-0 down early. And you're playing one of the champion schools. Hogan tackled, still 5 out. Irvine rushed into dummy half. That quick play, the ball is going to set it up for Lyon. Jamie Lyon has got over for Parramatta Marist's 3rd try. What a start from a team that may emerge from today's match as the favourites for this year's Cup.
Well, I know how you mentioned, here's the turnover here again, poor old Tong. Not having a happy afternoon. But it was straight away how he summed it up. Irvine, the little hooker, just comes straight into dummy half, catch and pass before the line. And this guy, hasn't he been impressive? Lyon, that's his 2nd try.
Well, he's already been selected in that Australian schoolboy side, Jamie Lyon. He took on his man and crashed over the top of him. Third kick of the day then for Haslett. Not sure that he's actually touched the ball in the match so far in general play, and here he is lining up his 3rd conversion attempt. This one swinging back but wide. 3 tries to 0, 1 goal, and Marist up by 14 points to 0.
Stay back.
Heckenberg gets us going again. Keith Heckenberg, the lock forward for St Gregory's. He'll be sweating on Parramatta Marist coming up with a mistake. Very few in these conditions. There's Boyd, just straight over the top of one. Well done, I think it was. Simon Huntley, a worried coach for St Greg's.
Just too strong for him in the middle, aren't they, Andrew, at the moment? I think it will continue. Plenty of players putting their hands up. Good forward pack, as we mentioned earlier. 5 of these guys played in the final last year. They'll be hell-bent on getting to the final again and trying to win one.
Gallen got them over the 30-metre line, and Irvine's playing a dominant role from dummy half. That ball put down by Bjorn Baker, coming in off the bench. Well, this is the mistake they were hoping for, St Gregory's.
They don't leave you guessing. They mix their game up pretty well. Parramatta Marist, well organised, especially in these conditions. Pretty wet out there.
Hold it, balls out.
And Luke working this scrum. came up for Jed Masters. The best field position St Greg's have had in the match. They're 30 metres out. Peter Maguire taken towards the sideline.
Yeah, but he's been up all evening, maybe. Okay, Skip.
The call from Lewis offside. It all helps St Gregory's at this stage at 14-0 down. And now they will go on the attack inside the 20.
Right in front of him. Hold it there, stay.
They come again. Dallas Watt for St Greg's.
That's a first. I've never seen that before. The fullback coming in and taking it first off the ruck and got smashed.
Now Ian Hartley. Maybe he should have been the first runner. Butcher, and a ruck play comes back for Heckenberg. They're trying an inside ball of their own, but the Marist defence there over the top with Sargent. 10 metres out. Davis. Doing well, Cameron Davis for St Greg's. And they're hanging on in defence. That was Bjorn Baker, who was trying to wrap up the ball. It wasn't easy, as now St Greg's make another rush with Hessian from dummy half.
Held up, Lewis.
There's the call from Lewis. So scrum 10 metres out.
I don't think he claimed it good enough, did he? He's forced his way over. Plenty of bodies around. Again, it's Anthony Boyd involved underneath. Fair enough call. 10-metre scrum. Feeding the loose again.
An opportunity to attack straight away from the scrum on the right if they like. They come the short side, Luke. And I think that's what Parramatta Marist were expecting. And they've turned it over before the first tackle. An old front row beside me shakes his head. There was a hand in there. It was a two-man tackle. Just got to be conscious of really gripping onto this ball in these greasy conditions. The tackles are going to knock it free from time to time.
Well, I could never understand too. You're only 15 metres out and running the short side, put everyone on side from the scrum base. A real good play there from the young fellow, Luke. You'll learn from it.
They're on their 40-metre line. I don't think he was expecting the ball. Gallen, he did well to get his hands out of the way when the ball was headed in his direction. Now Witters pushed it on with Baker and Parramatta Marist away on the left. And McIntyre was forced to come in off his wing to make the tackle on Stafford. Completion rate's very poor for St Gregory's at this stage, 3 of 7 as opposed to 7 of 11 for Marist. And last tackle, 35 metres out. Parramatta Marist leading St Greg's by 14 points to 0. And the kick is from Hogan and it's headed back centre field. Watt is there. He's lost it. This is play on for Marist. No, says Lewis.
It's been knocked forward by Parramatta, fellas. We have a changeover.
Yeah, not a bad call there. I think the Parramatta Marist player was the first of the football. Straight away a turnover now. Let's see if they can hang on to the footballs. St Gregory's haven't been able to early in this match. It's got to lock it up.
Well, it's been almost relentless, hasn't it, Steve? The attack of Parramatta Marist when they get the ball. Nothing is done in half speed.
It's exactly when you've got to dominate in defence. They haven't been able to do that so far.
Oh, there's a shot.
Like that.
The tackle from Sargent. He is the Sergeant. Might get a promotion. You'll be Lieutenant Colonel with tackles like this one on Maguire.
Well, you put a shot on like that, it slows the whole set of 6 tackles down. That's the whole aim, try and slow up their first couple.
And Gilmore. And for Marist, that's a good tackle on him. Came from the fullback, Dallas Watt. So there's still enthusiasm there for St Greg's. What's this tackle? Fullback on fullback. You don't see it too often. It was good effort from Dallas Watt. Marist now back inside St Greg's territory. 40 metres out. Sargent passing this time for Witt. And it was rather flat, and Boyd's paid the price there on the tackle of Kevin Dunn. Over the top was Davis. Not quite the metres he's made earlier in the match. Hogan keeps them going to the left, and Stafford coming up on the inside. And St Greg's defence hanging on by a thread at the moment. Last tackle, 30 metres out. And Dallas Watt is under pressure with his high ball. He's got a bit of protection. He does well. In fact, it's the winger Andrew Pinn who's gone to fullback. And now McIntyre. Dallas Watt just moving to the left wing, and Andrew Pinn, a St George junior rep, moving to fullback.
Parramatta Marist hungry in defence too. They really look like they enjoy it.
Oh, what about that play the ball? Penalised. Daniel Cartwright. He's facing the coast. I've never seen a player more facing the sideline than that to get up to play the ball. Watch this one. His dummy half's in front of him. He just lost his bearings, Daniel Cartwright, and concedes the penalty. So Marist on the attack with Sargent. 5 metres out from the line. Maguire over the top in defence. Irvine to the left with Witt. Inside pass. Gallen, a juggle, and loses. And away comes St Greg's with Cameron Davis.
There's none of this. None of it at all.
Stafford called out by Mick Lewis.
They'd be relieved after that, wouldn't they, St Greg's? They're in all sorts of trouble here. Another set play. Ball goes to ground this time through Gallen. Just trying a little too hard, aren't they, Parramatta Marist? Trying to ask the question a couple of times. There's a hand in the face. And the relieving penalty.
Block you mentioned right at the top of the coverage, the spread of talent from St Gregory's College Campbelltown right through this competition. There's another big tackle on Ben McIntyre. Now Harpley. He's quite incredible when you've even got now Robert Mears playing over in Auckland, a former student of St Greg's. You've got the likes of Jason Taylor at Norths, Russell Richardson at Cronulla, Trent Barrett with the Dragons. There's plenty of them. And it's just been a steady stream of talent that has come through the college into the top ranks.
I wish they had a few of them today.
Yeah, Trent Barrett would be handy. Back with Heckenberg. Kicking with the winger up on the line. They're onside, and this is Watt coming through on the left wing. Doesn't get a good touch on it. He was hoping to dribble the ball to the in goal, and it went over the sideline.
And he's tackled without the football here, or pushed in the back. It'll be a penalty to St Gregory's. There's a kick downfield, the shortened defence. Stops the kick and the push in the back here. That'll be a penalty.
Both players moving in and get the ball before they even got to it. This player has pushed the Campbelltown player away and into the sideline.
Okay. Will you mark the spot over there, thanks, Paul? Okay, we've got to play advantage. We're trying to play advantage all day. Okay, he said a call that.
Colin Cassis, the player, the number 2 who puts the push in the back. There's interference there in the centre of the field, you can see. Well, I don't think he was any hope of getting to the ball, but then Cassis, when the ball's going over the sideline,
If you want to kick it back, you've got to stay here.
Push what over the sideline?
Take the free kick. Okay.
Mick Lewis, a little lesson on the run. He could have called a scrum for an earlier kick the line, but it was a little forgiving. And Dallas Watt tackle.
He's a midget, the fullback. The big blokes take the ball forward.
Davis. And they are doing it tough, aren't they? You can't believe it. They're only 10 metres out. And it's Parramatta Marist, you'd think, who are doing the attacking, and they're doing it via their defence. Here's Christian. His pass goes astray. And Marist are back with it.
Patrick had a little bit of a bow peep on the outside there. The pressure was on from the defence coming up. Set play there from St Gregory's, going wide. They don't really want to know at the moment when they've got the football. The defence is a little bit too strong.
14-0 the score. Boyd is one of those try scorers. Offloading there for Irvine. And a left side rush has quickly ended as Christian got across there in defence. And Marist with Sargent. You can see now 40 metres out from their line. They're playing the ball quite as quick as they were in the opening to this match. And pretty good speed throughout the game. This one back for Pinn. And back he comes running at Stephen Witt. Pinn played for that Dragons under-18 side this year in the SG ball competition. Davis pushing up to that left side. Heckenberg. Number 7 for Parramatta Marist is certainly Tuvey-like in defence. He's right up there in the front line, getting through plenty of tackles. Maguire offloading for St Greg's. A rare offload for them, but maybe just edging back into this contest. Luke, and now passing across field. The kick was put in by Howell. Well, I don't think that was the result they wanted.
Disjointed, aren't they? First time. Only a couple of times they've been down this end. The kick going off the side of the boot. Another player losing his bearings. It's all too easy at the moment for Parramatta Marist.
Stay away. Stay away. Stay away. Back row is in. Wait. Take you loose, Marist. Bring it around.
Coming up to half time, and it's been a fair first half effort from Marist. And scoring 3 tries. Irvine, a scamper for 15 metres.
I think the scoreboard flatters St Gregory's. They've got down here a few times, Parramatta Marist, but lost the football early in the tackle count when they could have scored more points.
Defence there from Daniel Cartwright coming up. Able to put some pressure on the Marist attackers.
Back away.
They play the ball. Dixon got Parramatta Marist headed off to the left and then back in field. The tempo has definitely slowed down in this contest, and maybe Parramatta Marist will be happy to go to the break at 14-0. Just that will do. Andrew Pinn inside his 20 for St Greg's. He's done a good job since going to fullback.
Well, the last couple of times they've had the ball, Andrew, it looks like they're just playing for the kick on the end of the set. Haven't really put anything together coming out of their own end.
Davis and now Fitzpatrick for St Greg's. Still a bit of gusto in some of the forward running of St Greg's. Now with Cartwright. The ball has come loose. It was towed through there by Kevin Dunn.
No advantage down there, fellas, to put the scrum down here, okay?
Parramatta Marist scrum feed. Paul Gallen on the bench for Marist. With the right shoulder.
A little bit unfortunate too. He made a couple of errors in that first half, but he was outstanding. But he was their best player in that first half.
Stay away. Come on, get in there and pack it down. We're not playing theatrics this one, huh?
May even see a kick from this scrum. Last seconds of the first half, and there is Hogan trying the kick, and well read by Dallas Watt. He's back there for St Greg's and covers up. Completes the first half of football, and some of the players been right off the top shelf. Parramatta Marist high, the runners-up from the last 2 years in the Aussie Home Loans Cup. They're in control of this one, leading St Gregory's College of Campbelltown by 14 points to 0. We'll take a break and come back with more from the Sydney Football Stadium.
You show up.
there, Newt.
Nice allegation.
You there, Newt? Daryl Tong. I'm going to call him Daryl Hong now because it stinks.
Matty Louie, how's that? I've just put it back on and I don't know whether they bumped it a bit. How's that for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Utilising.
Utilising the chip over the top.
Andrew Pin was the good way. Barney hasn't touched it. On the left side. Yeah. Welcome back. No let up in the rain. Aussie Home Loans Cup from the Sydney Football Stadium. Parramatta Marist scoring 3 tries in the first half, but leading St Gregory's College Campbelltown by 14 points to 0. And most of the damage was done in the first half of that opening 30 minutes. It really was as good a start as we've seen from any school this year. Parramatta Marist, considering they're not playing any dummies in this match. I mean, this is high standard opposition. And Marist looks so impressive. So the job ahead of St Gregory's, and Harpley is shut down there by Irvine.
He's only a little man, Irvine, but he packs a punch, doesn't he? That was a great front on tackle. Not a bad set of 6 from St Gregory's to start the second half.
And Gilmore forced back. One of the out-of-towners, if you like, for Parramatta Marist, headed across field and finished in the run with Fitzpatrick up in defence. Dane Gilmore hails from Warialda. One of the Crusher connection, the Crusher-Cleal connection at Parramatta Marist. Any number of them actually live at Crusher's house as well.
1,000 of them.
Good defence from St Greg's to open this second half. Dunn was in there and they forced the mistake. Dunn and Cartwright and also Cameron Davis in the tackle, the 3 of them really putting in the effort.
That's a little bit more commitment, isn't it, to start the second half? What they lacked in the first half. Numbers in the tackle, try and slow it down a little bit. It's the loose ball. First error for Parramatta Marist in the second half.
Stay away at the moment, guys.
No doubt there was what would be described as a sneaky hand in there. I still think the bloke hanging onto the ball has got some obligation to put in some effort to hang on to the ball. Not allow it to be pulled loose so freely. So St Greg's go on the attack. And they're only 25 metres out, so what a boost it would be if they can come up with first points after half-time. Here's Harpley. His effort hasn't diminished at all, despite a few setbacks in that first half, some drop ball. Cartwright, 15 metres out.
He's tried hard too, Andrew. Cartwright since coming on.
Heckenberg, good hands from Heckenberg, then from Maguire and pushing along with Masters, and the defence also puts in the push and over the sideline. Cassis was in there.
The good thing about this defence here is they stayed on their feet, didn't they? Just drove over the sideline.
Andrew Pym was the player tackled, but Cassis and Lyon. Big effort to get him over the sideline. So Parramatta Marist out of trouble and back in possession. And they lead by 14 points to 0. And a lot of the players in this Marist side, a point we've neglected to mention, played in the Harold Matthews and the SG Ball sides for Parramatta this year. And those two competitions, the Eels were successful, winning the grand final in both. They've become accustomed to success, a lot of these players. Witt turning inside. He's been a fine leader, the halfback. Sargent striding through the gap. This is great play from Marist, back for Witt and cut down from behind.
A little bit of a hint of a forward pass there. The referee was right on the spot. Last tackle now for Parramatta Marist.
15 metres out and Irvine up, and then back in field. St Gregory's defence is coming from everywhere, but Irvine gets to in goal, and has he lost it? Lewis says yes. So all the way back to the 20. Irvine, well, he was certainly going to claim the try.
A little bit of white line fever there. You can see the rain tumbling down, slippery conditions, as we've mentioned. Just going to put the ball down and loses control.
Good call by referee Mick Lewis. A wrap for St Gregory's too. That was real scrambling defence close to their line to hang on. There's plenty of pride at St Greg's. There's Cartwright. Backs his way, almost up to the 40-metre line. The rain gets heavier now. We haven't had conditions like this in an Aussie Home Loans Cup match all year. Davis. Good work try from Mick Lewis for the players clearing away. Fitzpatrick to halfway. Now St Greg's back in field. Hickenberg's kick is high and long. Gilmore does well in the conditions. A safe take, and now straight away goes on the attack. Gilmore makes 20 metres. Cartwright was the tackler. Block is right when he gives him a rap. Cartwright's been as good as any forward for St Greg's. Started the match off the bench. Just now outside their 40. And St Greg's just falling off a few tackles.
Just have a look at their markers too, starting to go to sleep, not working from that position. You've got to win at the play the ball.
Up goes Witt, running right up to the line. You make comparisons, bit of Brett Kamali in the style of play. Taking them on, and now Marist with those inside balls working for Gallen. Good to see him back out there for Marist, almost losing the ball in the Hartley tackle. Last play for Marist. And Hogan's kick threads it through, and St Greg's do well at the back, an error. But it was an awkward bounce, and I'll still say that Dallas Watt did well to regather.
Yeah, I'll say that too. You've got a feel for him. He slipped here. He tried to cover the football. Here's a little chip through. Rather see him go for the air and make it a contest, but it's an option. He slipped over there for old Watt. He did well to hang on to the footy.
If he doesn't stop it, it's a certain try. The bounce of the ball and the slip, he was beaten. 8-7 the handling errors, but Parramatta Marist, they're on the attack, looking to stuff out the chances of St Greg's, and I think they've done that with Hogan, their captain, sliding over for Marist' fourth try.
I suppose you've got to worry for St Gregory's at how easy that was from the scrum base, right in the middle of the park. One pass to the 5'8", steps off his left foot, straight under the post. What more can you say?
Hogan's been there in the last two finals. His last year at Parramatta Marist, will be hoping for a third final and a successful one. Young Barney Hazlitt, another kick right in front, 1 from 3 today. To take his team's tally to 20. Barney Hazlitt flags up. 20-0 Parramatta Marist over St Gregory's College.
Stay back, guys, stay back.
And torrential rain, St Gregory's College, Campbelltown. Restarting play. And that scoreline to blot at the moment, 20-0. There's been no fall off in commitment. But they are meeting a classy football side today. Riley Mullins is now out there for St Greg's in 16. Marist forward pack though. They come in waves, and here is Boyd. One of their try scorers from the first half. Back to the 40-metre line. There's been a host of good players. Good defence there. Coming up hard is Daniel Cartwright. I think he'll have 22 on his back in the future. And Cassis coming in off the wing, copping a shot over the top from Heckenberg. Here's the tackle from Cartwright. He's the man low in that tackle, the 22. Kick comes down for McIntyre for St Greg's. Around 40-metre line.
Just have a look at that. That's a second tackle now, and no one really putting their hand up to take the ball forward again. It's Cartwright. Knock on a dummy half.
Okay, little knock on.
Mick Lewis apologises to the hooker. Gee, he's done well. I've got to give him a rap, that Cartwright. I know I did a little bit earlier, but he's been involved. Gee, that's a dodgy one. Did he lose that ball? Tough call.
Cartwright is a boarder from Young, St Gregory's College. Somewhere down the track, he'll head back to Canberra Raiders territory. And Marist with it from the scrum. Nice defence over the top from Jed Masters. Other side, they're in the same group as Marcelin College Randwick and also De La Salle, and they've already beaten De La Salle. They're headed for a win over St Greg's here. And there's a lost ball on the tackle. The calling from Mick Lewis. Gilmore, I think it was. Front on defence from Andrew Pinn. But we will excuse the odd mistake given the rain.
Just wait there, fellas. Wait there, wait there, wait there. Send it, take it. Go.
Scrum on the 30-metre line for St Greg's with Alan Luke. And got away from one. Alan Luke cleaned up in the end by Jason Power. Followed up now by Peter Maguire. He's driven across field in the Irvine tackle. He's at the top of the tackle count right at the moment for Marist. He's there again, this time on Cameron Davis. Daniel Irvine, one of those Australian schoolboys, one of 3 in this Parramatta Marist side. 35 out now, St Greg's with Davis. And sending them back to the left with Heckenberg. He kicks before the last and sends one on the chase. Getting across is Gilmore. That's a St Greg's try. They have got some speed, and Dallas Watt showed it a couple of times in the first half. And in a foot race, he's come up with a 4-pointer in the second.
Well, how good was the pickup? And Dallas Watt, he's played well too. For St Gregory's. Let's just see if he's onside. Here's the kick through now. Yeah, he's right onside. Gee, he's got some speed to get on the outside. Beautiful pickup and slides in.
Bit of indecision here, blocked from Dane Gilmore, getting across for Parramatta Marist. It's almost as if he pulls out at the finish.
I would have thought his man had him. A couple of metres before the line and slid over. Dallas Watt.
Mullins, right from the sideline, 19 metres out, and his kick is well wide. But they're on the board, St Greg's of Campbelltown, the 8th champion, and it's 20 points to 4.
back, guys. Stay back.
Barney Hadlett, starting play again for Parramatta Marist. 4 tries to 1 and 20 points to 4. No knock on there. And Cartwright comes back.
Let's see if they lift after the tries being scored by what this next set of 6 tackles will tell. A lot of one out and dummy half running here from St Gregory's. Been on all day where the opposition has really thrown the football around.
Strip of yellow paint down the side of Brett Fitzpatrick. 30-metre line, St Greg's. Heckenberg, he's the man who supplied the kick for Watts Cry. Now Masters, headed for that sideline and over. Well, he's done it a few times in the match. Jamie Lyon.
It's all about staying on your feet too in the wet conditions. Drive with the shoulder and keep pumping with the legs. Oh, he's done it on a couple of occasions. He wins his team the football.
Ball's out.
Marist attacking from 40 metres out with Hogan. Scorer in the second half. Some nice defence over the top there from Fitzpatrick. And Marist getting closer to that danger zone, and Gallen gets the full head of steam up again. He too headed for the sideline. McIntyre in their defence. Force and Greggs, and then a knock on. It was a sloppy play, the ball from Gallen. Most disappointed with that. He's done the job of staying in the field of play, and then, well, he had a couple of goes at trying to play it.
I don't think that interfered with the play at all. Funny ruling, that one. Handling errors 9 all.
Defenders, take your look. Ball out.
Before today, these two sides had played on 2 previous occasions this year, as Maguire, who's packing into lock now, took the first tackle. Parramatta Marist had won on both occasions. And in fact, Marist went through the MCS competition, the Metropolitan Catholic Schools competition here in New South Wales, undefeated this year. And that's not a bad form guide for the Aussie Home Loans Cup. Fitzpatrick's inside ball, finding Howe. Wrapped up on the 40-metre line. Boyd. And again, the kicking before the last. First bounce to Gilmore.
Pretty casual pick-up there too from Gilmore. He's cleaned up running across field.
Infield comes Stafford. Good defence from Heckenberg. Just wonder what the likes of Erindale are thinking as they watch this performance today from Marist. The opening was sensational. Sargent tackled short of the 40. Conditions have probably taken the edge a little off their play. Boyd. Almost offloading. Maguire went in low in the tackle. Parramatta Marist now on halfway.
They're strong, aren't they?
Yeah, that forward drive is on again here.
Poking their head every time they go through. Something different now. A little chip over the top from the halfback.
Utilised the chip and was halfback on halfback. Luke got to it.
No.
This time it's St Greg's with a drop ball. So Parramatta Marist will get a scrum feed, 35 metres out from the Greg's line. Here's the kick from Witt. Well tidied up by Luke.
Yeah, well read too. There's the knock on from dummy half. Bit of hair in his eyes.
Crack me up. Parramatta Marist from the scrum. And Irvine. Just like the way he plays the game, Daniel Irvine. His defence has been very solid.
He's clever, he knows when to go. When they're a bit short on the blind side, he'll run up there, keep you interested.
He's a contender for player of the match, Anthony Boyd as well as Irvine. Parramatta Marist now 15 metres out. Irvine sends them to the left side. Cassis is coming off the wing. And he's coming off the right wing to get in that position. Irvine, centre field. Hogan delivers the pass on the inside for power. He almost offloaded there to Gallen, who would have been awfully hard to stop. Now Gallen gets his chance, he lost it.
Lock on, lock on.
And that will be a changeover.
He goes up.
Obviously think there's a weakness up that short side there. They went there 3 times in that set of 6 tackles. And in the end, ball just bouncing over the shoulder of Gallen. And St Gregory's with it all to do, coming out of their own end now.
Loose ball from St Greg's. Lewis saying knock back. Gareth Cleal's out there in 16 now. Even more reasons for Noel Cleal to be watching this one closely. Son Gareth in the Parramatta Marist lineup.
He's a good kid too.
And it comes as no surprise to learn that one of his interests is pig shooting. One of the great hobbies of Les and Noel. Greg's on their own 20 and eating up the tackles. This has been a dominant set of 6 from Parramatta Marist in defence. Sort of stuff that may well get them the title at the finish. Gilmore running freely inside the 40-metre line. And hurdling back in field was Stafford. He's still going, Stafford. And Masters makes the tackle. Almost back where the play started from. Witt. There's that run right up to the line again. He's not a small halfback, the number 7 for Parramatta Marist. They're 35 out. Infield with Cleal. St Greg's players injured in the tackle. I think it may have been Tong. Hogan inside for Gallen. Gallen offloading. This is bright play from Parramatta Marist with Gilmore. The ground he goes in the tackle of Christian. Just 3 metres out, Parramatta Marist. They've scored 4 tries in this match. They're looking at 5 with Hogan. Passing back. Good hands by Big Gallen. Steps away from Hartley. Still 5 metres out. And again, you've got to wrap the St Gregory's defence down on the scoreboard, but still committed. Hogan gets the kick through to the in goal. St Gregory's have to clean up. Good play from Hogan. They get another set of 6.
There's some good play there from Gallen too. I think he's been outstanding, the number 11 for Parramatta Marist. A couple of good balls there. He got away. And in the end, the captain, Hogan, just puts it in behind. There's that ball. Great pass. Gilmore, who gets tackled just before the line. New Quick said exactly what they'd be after.
And a very short line dropout, fielded there by Jamie Lyon. So they're only 10 metres out. Marist, up they come with Sargent. Oh, that's good defence from Cartwright. Down below, Davis over the top. Just like the effort of St Greg's. Hogan turning his back to pass and finding Sargent. 5 metres out, that appeared to travel forward and called so. Hazlitt was over. He's hardly touched the ball bar the conversion attempts, Barney Hazlitt. And he almost had a try there, but I've got no doubts it was forward. Amount of surface water too in the corners. Rain has not stopped right through this clash.
Stay away at the moment, forwards. Take you loose. No, that's what I'm doing. You're on. Get that outside foot up top. Outside foot. Outside foot. Get it up when you're ready.
Oh, can you knock it on in feeding the scrum? Alan Luke just dropped it.
He lost control of it.
Fumbled the ball into the scrum. St Gregory's with Fitzpatrick. Oh, he may have lost it in getting up there. It happened in a flash, and Mick Lewis was just checking the 10 metres, so...
Pretty hard to gauge the performance of Parramatta Marist today. I know that they've been solid in the wet. I don't know how strong the opposition's been.
You've got to take into account the start, Steve, the wonderful start. The heads went down from St Greg's. It was awesome, the start, really. The 3 tries from Parramatta Marist.
I think St Greg's will be happy it has been wet.
Davis tackled. Parramatta Marist side of halfway, but it is the last for St Greg's. And the kick, it came from Cartwright, I think, and it's all the way back to the in goal. It's a good kick. Gilmore is with it. Bit of pressure on him. Headed towards the sideline, gets back to the field of play. Nice work from Dane Gilmore.
Just goes to show that the enthusiasm's a little bit down, doesn't it, for St Gregory's to kick downfield. No one really to chase. Gilmore did well to get in the field of play. No traffic around him. And a little couple of arm grabs here. Makes 10 metres.
Kick was actually from Michael Howell. It was certainly well weighted. Didn't get the result he hoped for, as now Irvine taking off for 5. Didn't like that pass. They got away with it though. Witt passing back and play on with Cleal. Taking the ground. Last play here for Parramatta Marist. Matter of metres inside the St Greg's half. Hogan's kick driving deep. But St Greg's will come back. with Christian. He's lost it. Brilliant defence there from Gilmore. Parramatta Marist away. They're only 5 metres out, 10 metres out rather, and then the tackle.
No, he's playing that. He should have passed the ball on the inside. 2 support players there.
Just a trip there from behind as Maguire came back onside. It was on Jamie Lyons. Didn't like the look of it. I think it's a result of the action there of young Maguire. And now Parramatta Marist concede the penalty for a Shepherd. So a let-off for St Greg's. Watch this tackle on Christian. This is what you call being cleaned up. And now the Shepherd for Parramatta Marist. Well, it was almost a collision. Almost more interference for Parramatta Marist than St Greg's. They start the run from 10 metres out from their own line. Maguire. Now Davis for Harpley. He's a try, a front rower. Ian Harpley. There's been a forward battle won by Parramatta Marist.
They just had trouble getting out of their own half, haven't they, St Gregory's? They've been camped down this end. Parramatta Marist haven't come up with as many tries as I thought they might have.
Well, Luke's kick over the top here. Blocky copped interference and has earned his side a penalty.
What number we after, George?
So this time they've come out of their half.
What number? 6, Marist. That's your come, skipper.
Well, the referee saw this. This is what he ruled the penalty for.
Yeah, just play on.
Tries to kick the ball. Late hit by number 6.
Touchy's just keeping warm.
Okay. We don't do this. No. We've got both of us saw that, okay, and we think it was late. We're not having that, okay, there's none of it. Just wait there, fellas, okay? Wait there.
Luke's the man with a kick. And then Hogan just decides to deliver the right shoulder. He's in against the ropes. St Gregory's on the attack. 30 metres out, and Harpley is with it. He looked to his left, and his closest support was a good 15 or 20 metres away. Luke for Davis. Run around with Luke. And then wide with Heckenberg. Witter's there in defence. 20 metres out. Luke again, coming to his own in the second half. The number 7 for St Greg's, trying a few things. Utilising the chip. And now Howell. 15 out. Howell decides to run. He's headed across field. Gallen there in defence. Cartwright, the dummy half. Back infield with Harpley. 10 points to 4. 4 tries to 1. It'd be a tidy scoreboard if they can come up with a second try. Comes back for Howell. And Gallen able to wrap up the ball. It's a couple of crucial tackles from Gallen in this set of 6. Last play here for St Greg's. Wide ball from Davis. Falling was Heckenberg. Luke pushes along. Now it's with Maguire. St Greg's still on the attack. A short kick. It's still play on for St Greg's. But it is the last tackle, and Marist are back with it.
Well, that was a perfect example of Greg's trying to go wide. It was very slow. Look at this. You've got to catch and pass and get on the outside of your men. Cleaned up in the end by Parramatta Marist. Did well too, just to dive on the loose ball.
14-0 it was at half-time. Here's Irvine passing up. Service has been good in tough conditions. Here's again, last play for Parramatta Marist. Hogan has been almost the sole kicker in this second half. He's found the line. Daniel Christian couldn't get across there. Hogan certainly taken it upon himself to do all the line kicking. Must have been close to being a 40-20. Just stepped over the 40-metre line. Certainly got it inside the 20.
Stay away, fellas, at the moment. Stay away.
Take it in the packing of this scrum. Riggs with Luke and then Fitzpatrick. They've certainly reshuffled their back line in this second half. Christian, the 5'8", went to fullback. Fitzpatrick's now playing out in the centres, the second rower. Peter Maguire, their centre, has moved into the pack. Luke for It's almost as if the number 7's been given the order, just start running.
Stay away! Out of it!
Well, Stafford's going to be called
Stay away.
Called out here by the referee for retaliating.
That's you go, Griggs, 14. Okay. Bring your skipper. Skip up. Come over, please.
Serious enough for a penalty, though, block and a stoppage, do you think?
He didn't like what he saw, I think. I think it might have been an elbow in the tackle when he was running at the player with the ball.
The other player's face, the other player retaliated. That's why there was a little bit of push each other.
Okay.
All happened this quarter, and he started it, right?
No worries, thanks very much. Hang on, well, I know it was too. Okay, I agree with that too. I insist that's what he's basically saying. Yeah. He's got to see it as he calls it, with playing advantage, all that sort of stuff. It's going to go against us. Where are we, George? The tip?
Concern there is it, like Mick Lewis has just said, that he saw it as well. And he was prepared to let play continue. There's the challenge. Howell, little knee as he came forward on Brett Stafford, and then Stafford replied. Nothing too serious though. 6-3 the penalties to St Greg's. But Marist lead 20 points to 4 on the scoreboard, and they're on the attack again, and it's 20 metres out. Hogan across field with Sargent. Sargent's actually been playing up in the pack today. He's got the 12 on his back, but he's played more of the match in the front row as Power headed to the 10-metre line.
He's one of the best players we saw the last game that we've seen, Parramatta Marist. Power, but hasn't had to do much today. He's been solid.
Witt, pass put down by Boyd and then knocked on in turn
Bad luck.
by Maguire.
No, he went backwards. Go forward that way. Okay. You knocked it forward, you know that.
Ball's gone against St Greg's here. Watch it, Witt. Well, Boyd maybe didn't get a hand to it. It was just knocked on by Maguire. So Parramatta Mara scrum feed. 60 seconds now of this match. And Marist with Brett Stafford. 15 metres out. A try here would finish things off nicely. Complete the job. Take another step towards the final.
They'd be disappointed if they didn't finish off with the try. They've been down this end long enough. Lost possession on 5 or 6 occasions.
Short pass from Hogan.
My man Cartwright again.
Yeah, he was sweating on it. Daniel Cartwright, the boy from Young. 5 metres out. Parramatta Marist attacking with Boyd. Scored a try in the first half. Cartwright rushes in there over the top and the ball comes loose and Luke comes away with it. He really has been committed, Daniel Cartwright. St Gregory's with the ball. The countdown coming from their schoolmates. Davis with it for St Greg's. And the hooter sounds. That completes the battle. Another contest between Parramatta Marist and St Gregory's College. Very competitive, and their coach David Dwyer for Parramatta Marist satisfied. They have come through with a 20 points to 4 victory, 4 tries to 1. Aussie Home Loans player of the match today, second row for Parramatta Marist, Paul Gallen. A fine performance. And we look forward to seeing Parramatta Marist and Paul Gallen in action again this season. I'm sure we will, as they head towards perhaps a third consecutive final. Another good game in the Aussie Home Loans Cup today, and there's more next week. We'll see you then.